I'm joined by James Creedon. Good evening to you, James.
Good evening, Tom.
Let's start with a rather odd story you've picked out for us. It comes from northern France, and it's been making the news across the world because there's a group of armed clowns, and they're spreading panic. And that's led to the sentence of one teenager, at least.
That's right. I think these pranksters didn't expect that a couple of weeks later, when you Google armed clowns, you get stories in the Japan Times and other publications around the world about what they'd got up to. Essentially, they were going around in clown outfits with weapons and terrorising people in a couple of towns in northern France. You can see here headlines talking about it. In Outrun, a terrifying clown at the court this Monday. That was yesterday. He got a 6-month suspended sentence. I'm not sure if that's him. I think it may be partly inspired by I suppose, our modern era's most terrifying clown, the Stephen King conceived of It. In any case, lots of headlines, and there was even a rather tragic incident where a professional clown was arrested by the police, being confused for these pranksters. His name, actually, incidentally, is Karim Yayaoui, who, a journalist in the France 24 newsroom, has the same name, but we can confirm it's not him. In any case, he was just doing his job. He's a professional clown, and he got embroiled in this whole scandal or debacle in northern France. Now, apparently this happened also last year in the UK. There were various incidents in the UK, and there's even a video of a killer clown scare prank that went online in May of this year. It's had 28 million views. Let's take a look at some of the images, because it seems to have become a cultural sort of what would you say, motif. So this rather terrifying clown just started pranking people. This was in the US, DM prank videos, and just generally misbehaving, Tom. And I wonder, did our friends in northern France not were they not somewhat inspired by this video? It is. I've had to cut out some of the scenes here because there's also massacring of fake bodies and stuff. It's actually quite frightening. I can understand how people who would come across a scene like that as they're going about their daily business would be completely terrified. So it did end up before the courts in northern France, and there was a 6-month suspended sentence as a result of this.
Well, James, if we weren't terrified of clowns before that, we certainly are now. Thank you for that.
Right.
Let's move on to another story, because I can't take any more clowns.
Right, no more clowns.
They really are quite scary.
It is an official phobia, you know. There's an official clown phobia. It's something more Latin than that, but anyway.
Oh, well, I think I've got it now. Let's move to this other story you picked out. People trying to outrun the metro or tube train, right. And this is a craze that's been started by a Frenchman. That's
right, and just to show you some of the videos that we've been seeing in the last little while, this one was put up online in August. It's had over 5 million views. This is in London, Race the Tube. The principle is you get out of the station as the train arrives, and you try to get to the next station before the subway or the metro or tube actually arrives there. And on occasion, if you're very fit and a good sprinter, you can manage it. The first video was actually in France. It was in 2012. A guy by the name of François de la Taille, who ran on the line 10 metro from the Odeon station to Cluny-la-Sorbonne. And indeed, he did outrun the, I suppose, rather slow and clunky line 10 of the metro. And let's roll these images, because one video that's been getting a lot of attention in France in the last number of days is a video filmed in the Lyon metro. And this guy is a professional sprinter, actually, by the name of Christopher Zombo. And he's a specialist in the 400-meter sprint. And I suppose that did come in handy when he tried to out-sprint the Lyon metro. So there you go. I suppose it only works, really, if you're incredibly fit and if you only have one metro stop to go on your commute, in which case you can forego public transport. But for the rest, you're probably better off just waiting for the slow transport to get there.
Yeah, well, I think it's easier done in Paris than it is in London, because the gaps between metro stations in Paris is sometimes very short indeed.
That's
in
true.
London, it's much longer.
In particularly on certain of the lines, yeah, it's really, I'm often surprised that they even bothered building them as close as they did
like
to
bus
each other.
stops. All right, let's move on to another incident you've picked out. It comes from across the channel. The sports TV show called Top Gear, which focuses on motor racing and motor cars, has caused, it causes controversy all the time.
It does indeed.
But this time it's between the UK and Argentina, a bit of a diplomatic spat.
That's right. Indeed, they were chased out of Argentina when they were filming this show, Tom, last month. Take a look at the number plate on this Porsche 928. Now, it's H982FKL. Now, the producers of the show say it was a complete accident, but the crew were actually pelted with stones in what Jeremy Clarkson, the presenter, described as a terrifying incident and chased out of the country. They had to abandon the shoot. People thought it was a reference to 1982 and the Falklands War. Now, in any case, it has become a diplomatic incident because further to that number plate incident, there were also mentions by Jeremy Clarkson of the Tierra del Fuego local government in Argentina as being mafia-like. In any case, the Argentinian ambassador has met with the head of the BBC and asked for a formal apology. So it has become, indeed, somewhat of a diplomatic incident.
All over a number plate. Clearly a very sensitive issue indeed. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Tom.
James Creedon, that was MediaWatch. Well, it's time now for our focus segment here on France 24. Today we're going to turn our